Hello, everybody. We are back. Welcome to another episode of Real Women, Real Talk. And this is where we give you a sneak peek into what it's like to be a part of our Real Women Rock Sister Circles. It is so good to be back with you all. I am Trenace Richardson, and I am the founder of Real Women, and I am joined by my co-host.
I am the amazing Shavon Carter, and I am one of the facilitators, if I can get it out, for
That's
Real
what you
Women.
are. That's what you are. We are so elated to be with you. And if you are only listening to us, then you don't know this yet, but we are joined by a sister girlfriend, and we are so elated to have her with us. We are going to introduce her in just a second. We want you to know that we're going to share some information about who we are as an organization, just weave it throughout this episode. And so we want you to stick around until the end because we have some really exciting, amazing things to share with you about who we are and what we have coming up if you want to take a deeper dive with us. But we're going to jump right in because you have the opportunity to take a look at all the other episodes as well as sit and chill for this one. We are joined by Sister Era Faye Joyner.
Hey.
We are so elated to have her. And let me tell you a little bit about this amazing woman. She is a visionary. She is a creator and an innovator. I said that. I said it right. Innovator. She's an innovator and an innovator.
Yes.
Who has a passion for helping improve the lives of others. And she has a strong love for creating music and a background in electrical repair. Look at that. Just well-rounded. And strategic planning. This techie turned philanthropist has set out to provide innovative solutions by merging the arts with technology and wellness concepts. I cannot wait to hear more about this. Her latest project includes advancing organizational growth through data analysis and strategic collaborations to better serve marginalized communities. And I can tell you that we at Real Women are benefiting from her expertise. Member, she is absolutely amazing, working really hard. We have some exciting things we'll tell you about Real Women that she's had a real hand in. But she is a force of her own to be reckoned with. And we would like to welcome you to the podcast, Era Faye. Say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Woo! We are so glad to have you here. I think this is maybe the third, maybe connected to Real Women, directly connected to Real Women Sister that we've had on. And it was high time we had another guest. And so we are so glad you decided to join us. So thank you. Well, the way that we start this out, Era Faye, is we start off with just checking in with each other because not often enough do we actually check in and say, how are you really doing? So we're going to start with you, Era Faye. Real talk, not for fake, but for real.
For real.
How are you? How are you doing?
Okay, real talk.
Yes.
I'm a little tired. It's been a long day. I got started really early, like 3 a.m. early. And I've been out in the people's streets all day long, doing good service. And yeah, but I'm here. I'm pushing through, and I feel I'm tired yet excited at the same time because I'm here with you both and just excited to talk and just kind of break through some things. So
yeah, so good. Listen, 3 a.m. is a little earlier than early. It's like before early. It's pre-early.
Pre-early.
Well, they said a butt crack of dawn early.
At the tippy top. That's
right.
Yeah. So thank you. We appreciate with such a long day that you've agreed to join us. We're grateful. Sister Shavon, how you doing, girl?
So, I would think if I were a smoker that I would be high. Like I feel high and sleepy. Like if I were into marijuana, I think it would describe how I'm feeling right now. I just feel like real chill, but then sleepy, like my eyes probably a little squinty.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just want to lay down and just I'm feeling good though. But I'm
Yeah.
sleepy. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go lay
I
down.
wanna go lay
Go
down.
lay down.
Yes. How are you doing?
I'm good. You just made me think about one of our girlfriends who
Yes.
who has done lives before just kind of like this.
Yes. That's how I'm feeling right now. But I promise you I haven't had anything. I don't even smoke. I don't even, partake, but
Yeah.
that's how I'm feeling.
Mhm.
If I did that, I would be feeling like this.
Got you. Got you. Well, do you think you'll be able to rest well tonight? You gonna be
Oh,
able to
for sure.
lay it down?
Absolutely.
Okay,
One thing
good,
I'm
good.
gonna do is get my rest for sure.
I know
Mhm.
that's right. I know
Yes.
that's right. That's a
Mhm.
model for me to follow. Well,
Mhm.
I am, if I had to find a word, I am wired. I'm wired up. And it's because um I'm taking my weekends very seriously, and I'm bringing all of the energy and the busyness of it down as low as I can. I'm spending as much time in the house as I can on the weekends, cooking food instead of just out buying food, prepping it for the week. And so the weeks are packed. They are just,
Mhm.
it's a lot happening in a work week for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next?
Yeah.
And I need to let my shoulders fall, and I
Mhm.
need to inhale real deeply and exhale. So I'm in the at the time that we're taping this at the start of a work week and just thinking about all of the stuff that needs to get done. So that's where I am right now.
Mhm. Understood.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I think we are probably, going to touch on it just a little bit in some ways that are indicative of us, because we don't do we don't do things like everybody does. But this time that we're all in right now, beginning of the year, with so many changes happening around us, political and otherwise, it's got a lot of people, on edge, I guess,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And so as a person who has to tend to other people, I'm navigating those waters for them primarily, because I'm going to live my life no matter what. Um,
Right.
but
Well,
um, but really trying to navigate that for them. So it's a lot. It's a lot going
Mhm.
on, and it's causing me to retreat real heavy on the weekends.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So we want to know how you all are doing. We really do care how you are doing. So please feel free to sneak a peek, send us some information on how you are doing, what's going on with you. If you want to ask us a question or send us a comment, go to speakpipe.com/real women real talk. Or you can email us at info@realwomenrock.org. We would absolutely love to hear from you. Now, we would not have this guest here without diving deep with what is on her heart and her mind these days. And what we have found is that typically whatever is on our hearts individually, each other, we can connect in some way. We can find some commonality and some common ground, because we are really all experiencing a lot of the same emotions, and maybe at different times and with different experiences, but we can all relate, right? So we just checked in with Erife, and we was like, what you thinking, what you feeling, girl? And the word came up for her: reset.
Wow.
Mm.
Mhm.
And I like that word. So I told you I'm wired, so y'all gonna have to get all of this tonight.
send some my way. I need
Yes.
some.
Uh-huh. And so the word reset came up, and I love that. I know we're gonna dive deep into it, but I just want to start by asking you, each of us can answer this. Have you ever used the word reset to describe anything you've done or where you are? And if so, how? How have you used it? What has been your experience with the word reset? And Faye, we'll start with you.
Okay. Man, I'll say in pretty much almost every aspect of my life. But one in particular with my educational journey, I hit reset. Like just to kind of take it back, I went through an apprenticeship program. That's how I became a certified electrician. And when I was during that program, I opted to do an additional track, right, where I could achieve my associate's degree. At the time, I was doing a lot of traveling for work. I successfully completed the basic track of the program, did not satisfy my associate's degree requirements. So I thought until some years later, I decided to go back and just kind of like, you know what, let me just press the button, reset, see what I need to do to get to that point. And come to find out, I had everything completed. There was an error in the system that showed that I had not been completed. I was under the wrong track. So they called me and said, hey, go ahead and apply for graduation. So
Wow.
had I not pressed that reset button, I wouldn't have, gotten to
Mhm.
that. So yeah, that was one step of the educational journey. And since then, this past spring, I started a new journey where I'm studying neuroscience. And it's very much, I just kind of said, you know what, let me just jump out there. I'll set a plan. I'll go the semi-aggressive route. And if I find that it doesn't work, guess what? I'll hit reset and we'll just start
Yeah.
again. And
Yeah.
I've reset twice since, but nonetheless, still going. It was something to just get me motivated and kind of pull the trigger, so to speak. So yeah.
I
Wow.
love that, Faye. Oh, that's great.
Oh, let me tell you, so much comes up as a thought for me thinking about what you just said. Because first of all, you're not afraid of that reset button.
Yeah.
I
It,
love that.
hot
You will,
standby for sure.
Mhm.
yeah, you will press that button and to hear the different areas, like what your education studies were in, and now what you're pivoting to, and even in your bio, what some of your areas are. That wherever your interest lies, or wherever there is passion or curiosity, you're not afraid to go to a brand new area. So that's amazing. That
Mhm.
is beautiful. Okay, so before we start digging all deep, Shavon, how have you used the word reset?
Man, so kind of piggybacking off of what Faye just shared, when it comes to education, I have reset. I'm on my third reset now with the same degree. And I've talked about this in previous episodes, but hitting the reset button on this degree in counseling, it has been a journey. And I'm thankfully in the last semester and graduating in May. But I realize that sometimes you just need to stop, and it may not be the right time, to move forward with something that I have started to do. So in the education space, I can identify with you and definitely say I've hit reset. But also, even there are days when I just don't feel like it, like I'm feeling blah, and I'm just not in a vibrant space. And so the next day is like a reset for me. Like I can just choose to just start over and just choose to be in a better space. Or sometimes in the next moment, I don't even have to wait till the next day, but just I may be having a moment where I'm just not feeling it, and then I reset, within the next hour or within the next moment. So it ranges for me what reset looks like in my life. Yeah.
That is so good. You just gave the visual I had are there are micro resets and there
Yeah.
are macro
Yeah.
resets, right? So
Yeah.
you have all of
Ooh.
them available to you.
Mhm. For sure.
That is so good. Okay. So the word reset is so funny that both of you all use education as an example, because I got a hold of a decision about what I was going to do with education, and I just went straight through and finished it. And not necessarily, I don't consider it all positive. Like, at the end of the day, I'm glad I did it, glad it's over with, and all of that. But I started in education as a secondary education teacher for undergrad, and then pivoted for my master's. I got my master in religion divinity, and then went back to get my doctorate in higher education, but it was straight through.
Mm.
And I think would have explored and reset and done some other things amidst that. in this podcast in different episodes, but I just chose to go straight through because I felt like that was the expectation. Like you go to school, then you go to the next school, then you go to the next school, and you finish. Education was it was articulated as a high priority in my family, and so even though I don't have that testimony, I am pivoting really big right now. And I have done it at different points in my life, personally or passion wise. But I'll say right now, it has been, I've turned into, I've morphed into this farm girl, this nature girl, this tree hugger girl. And I am just so in my element now. Like I'm just in love with what I'm learning. And I'm for those who haven't heard me say it in previous episodes, like I'm starting a beginning farmers training program. And so it started with me gardening, but that has transitioned to me just full out wanting all the land to do not just my own homesteading and growing food for my own family, but selling it and creating educational experiences and even wellness experiences around that. And so, and I've gotten support and talking with and collaborating with a lot of sister girlfriends in this space as well. So Reset has been wonderful for me. It's not scary to me at all. I'll talk about it in another way later, but I'm loving stepping into a passion brand new, while still, I think though, like for me, and I think for all of us, we'll talk about this because we press reset, but it's not like we've thrown away everything we have been doing in order to do this new thing, right? We still are making a transition. So I'll ask, and maybe I'll start with you, Shavon. Any thoughts that you have based on what you've heard so far, but also, why do you think it's important to reset? Like, what is the significance of that? What do you think about the importance of it?
Yeah, I think it's important because it's allowing ourselves to start again. It's something about beginning again it feels fresh, it feels new, and we don't have to live in, I would say, the staleness of the monotonous journey, right? So a reset is like, okay, it's almost like reprogramming our minds or resetting our minds to say, you know what? I've been in this space and I've been at this for a long time, or maybe I took a break from it, but I'm going to return back to it with a fresh mind, with a new mindset to help me to stay focused on it for however long, even if I have to reset again. But it just gives me a new perspective and a new leash on life, I think, when you reset.
Mm-hmm. So good. You made me think of a couple of things in Airface. Since you're going into neuroscience, you probably gonna be able to help us explore this, because the first thing you made me think of was if we don't evolve and grow, we are dying, right? So evolution is like a natural, if we allow it to be, it's a natural progression for life. And staying stuck and stagnant means we are withering away, right?
Yeah.
But then I also thought about the neurological concepts of our whatever parts of our brains we're not using, or let's say we only use a certain part of our brain all the time. Well, the parts that we are not using, it's my understanding that they can atrophy, right? And kind of just stop working as well and neurons shooting off as well, because they're not being used. So they encourage us, like, if you are right-handed, try to do some things with your left hand sometimes, just to wake up that part of your brain. Try to do some new things that you haven't done before. I have brain teaser books all around my house now, because being in my 50s, I'm like, my stuff ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be 90 teaching the kids, telling them what to do. And so yeah, that's what it made me think of. Does that sound about right, Erife?
Yeah, no, it's funny you mentioned that, because that's exactly where I am. Like, I recognize I need variety, right? My mind will not allow me to be stagnant. for a very long time. And if I do get to that point where sometimes I get hyper focused on one thing, but I do recognize if I don't tap into like that very creative side, I don't feel balanced. I really feel off, right? So I'm very conscious of that, and I try to be intentional about like just changing things up a little bit, even throughout the day. Just like setting some hard points and say, okay, let me stop and just take a walk. Let me stop and like watch something funny. Just do something different to break it up, to keep your mind, just kind of fresh. And the same thing works like at the gym. If you're doing a constant workout, the same thing over and over, your body gets used to it. You're not going to see those benefits as if you would when you changed up your workout. So yeah, right on point.
That is so good. So good. I think we've all just hit on why it's so important, right? And I don't know, has it always been easy for you to reset? Is that something you've had no problems doing? Or both of y'all looking funny and strange? So
let me tell you.
Go ahead, Faye. What up?
No, for me, for those that really, really have gotten very close and see how I operate, I tend to be like very overly analytical, right? And I plan things out to the T. And like, my mind just goes to, okay, I'm trying to begin with the end in mind. So I want to do everything perfect and don't stop until I get to that point. And by doing that, I'm just like pushing myself into overload and not allowing myself to stop and take that step back. So with that, I find myself just kind of forcing situations to happen that don't need to happen.
Can we just let that breathe for a second?
Yeah, that requires a good pause.
Because we will put a square peg in a round hole. You hear me? Because we got this square peg and we got that round hole, and you're gonna fit in there.
Yeah, we're gonna bring in the chisels and the mallets. We're gonna figure out how to get it in there versus just change it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's so good. Why you make face, Shavon?
Because depending upon what the reset is, it can be hard as hell. Like I know there have been resets relationally where it is devastating to start again, to begin again. Like that, I don't feel like I don't, it's just one of those things where there have been times when I just didn't feel like it, dealing with the pain of having to release something and reset. And start again. And so I made that face and I'm like, oh, there are some times when it's really hard, depending upon what it is. But when it's just like I said before, those day-to-day moments when I'm just in a mood and I need to shift, that is a little bit more easy for me now because I have tools and coping strategies to help with that shift. But there was a time when that was difficult too, because, I was still learning how to shift my emotions and my moods. And so it just depends on what it is and how. And also when I'm in my comfort zone, I feel like getting out of it, like going back into the office, for example, every day. It's going to be a reset for me, because for a number of years now, I've been used to teleworking. And so that's another example of a reset where I have to shift my thinking into, okay, we got to get back into the office every day. And so that's going to cause a shift out of my comfort zone. Not always fun or feels good.
Not at all fun. I so agree. There are some things, it depends on what it is, but there are some things, and I will be real transparent because this is Real Women, Real Talk. And my husband would say the same thing, like we are grateful that we are together, but a part of what during our roughest moments have kept us together is because we don't want to go back out and do that. Lord have mercy, I don't want to do that again. Like, so come here, let me figure out what we got to talk about, what we need to work through.
Like Fantasia said in the song, sometimes you have to lose to win again. That plays out in my head so much, like as a constant reminder, like it's okay to like just stop this thing where it needs to stop. Don't try to make it go forward.
So perfect segue, because while Shavon was talking, I was asking myself, like, what are the signs that you need to reset, right? So So go ahead, Faye. Like the idea of sometimes you got to lose to win again. When you're at that point, what is happening? What can be happening? I know it depends on the situation,
Yeah.
but in general, what are the feelings or the signs inside of you or around you that say, okay, it's time to press the reset button?
Yeah, I think now like one of the real telltale signs is when I'm feeling like unnecessary resistance.
Mm,
Mm-hmm,
And it's like
mm-hmm,
everything is just hard for no reason. And it's
mm-hmm,
becoming harder and harder. And it's like you have to put forth so much extra effort just to
mm-hmm,
try to get something done. And it's like, why am I fighting this? Why am I trying to force it?
yeah.
So for me, I would much rather now just pull back from a situation. So I'm
Mhm,
learning to approach things with a long spoon, so to
mhm,
speak. And that
mhm,
everything, people, work, all the efforts, just creating that safe boundary and, getting in a space where, hey, I can approach it differently. That makes sense. So,
mhm. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I'm going to ask you, Shavon, what your thoughts are. You just made me think about someone we a lot of us in Real Women consider a mentor and a friend. Vicki Johnson. She always talks about ease and flow,
Yeah.
and the idea that if you really, we talked about that square peg in the round hole, that if you're working too hard, it is at least an opportunity to stop and pause and
Mhm,
figure out what's going on. Right. So
mhm.
it's not that we shouldn't be working hard. I mean, there's work to be done on whatever level you're passionate about it, but there should be some level of flow and ease to
Mhm.
what you're doing. And if not, then what is that about? Just
Yeah.
really evaluating that. So I love that. I love that. What are your thoughts? What are the signs a reset might be needed for you, Shavon?
Yeah, for me, it just depends. It's so many different signs for me depending upon the situation. So one, when it comes to my mood, if I'm noticing that there is a consistent feeling of melancholy and just feeling blah, then that tells me, knowing who I am, and I'm a very vibrant person and just love newness and really driven by purpose. Like if I notice I'm in a lull for a long time, then that's
Mhm.
an indicator for me that I need to reset. Um, or if I feel like this nudging, this something is calling me forward, then
Mhm.
I feel like there's time for a reset. Like with school, like it was just a gnawing that would not let me alone, basically.
Mm.
So I just knew that I needed to reset and begin again until I completed, this degree. So it just really depends. Yeah.
Yeah, that gnawing. I love that because what it calls us to is to tap in and listen to our inner voice,
Yeah.
right? So if we allow everything that's happening around us to just keep us busy and distracted, and it feel like noise around us, we may not even hear the tugging or the like you said, the gnawing at us. We may not hear it or feel it, to
Mhm.
know that there needs to be a shift or a reset. So it does require a pause. It
Yeah.
necessitates a periodic pause, so
Mhm.
that you're just checking in. Okay, everything is good. I can keep rolling. There's a reason to pause, just to pat myself on the back. I'm doing good right now. All is well. Move
Yeah.
forward, or pause and evaluate. Do I need to reset or shift? That's why those periodic pauses are needed, I think. Yeah.
And you know what came to me was when you were talking about pausing, my third reset came during the pandemic. So when life
Mhm.
was slowing down, I could really hear, and that's when I felt the tugging and felt the nudging again. So those times of pause are so important. Yeah.
yeah.
So important.
I think you start to lose the sense of awareness, right? If you're constantly on the go,
Yeah.
sometimes you can't see what's going on with you.
Yeah.
So it's necessary,
Mhm.
like, really just stop and be still, right? So that you can actually look through that lens of stillness.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I have a sort of a rounding this out question for you all about, the benefits of resetting, or what you would advise someone when it comes to resetting. But I just want to check in with those who are listening and watching, because we really do want to know what you're thinking and feeling about this and what even your questions might be. And so when it comes to resetting, we really do want to hear from you. Go to speakpipe.com/real women real talk, or email us at info@realwomen.org. And just know that our sister circles in Real Women, the work that we do, we really do ask you as a woman to pause, to take a moment and just check in with yourself. Every sister circle, we exist to create these sister circles, both in person and virtual, so that you have a moment with some like-minded sisters who are all about, we think differently about a lot of different things, but the one thing we are all on the same page about is we're going to respect your right to breathe and be who you are, and you're going to respect the right for us to do that and process who we are at a pace that works for us in a safe, non-judgmental space. And so when that happens, those sister circles, we are just giving each other a moment to reflect. Whatever the topic is, you get to slow down and ask yourself a couple of questions. And so if you want to be a part of that, we really would love to have you at a sister circle. No matter where you live, you can be a part of our virtual sister circles. And we are based in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. And we take sister circles on the road as well. So go to realwomenrock.org to find out more about us. We have sister circles and socials connected to those sister circles, and then some special events that we'll talk about in just a little bit. I just wanted to plug that because some people may not make space in their lives for pause.
Yeah.
And really checking in with your sister girlfriends, or an organization or a community that fosters that cultivates that moment of reflection is also a way to do it. So I can come up with a couple of others, but what would you suggest to someone, the benefits of resetting, or what advice would you give? How can they go about resetting? What closing words would you have, Shavon?
You know what's coming up for me, which those who are watching and listening, some people may resonate. This may resonate with you. The importance of resetting is so that you don't get stuck in the story of where you are, right? So there are a lot of us that may not push the reset button because we're judging ourselves for where we are right now. So like with what Erife and I have shared, like if I had judged myself for starting school and stopping school and making that mean something terrible about me, then I wouldn't have developed the courage to try again. So I think resetting helps us to practice forgiving ourselves, practice loving ourselves, practice trusting ourselves, and letting ourselves off the hook for trying again, like for the decisions that we may have made in the past. Like just because things didn't work out the way that we wanted them to or thought they were going to doesn't mean that we don't get to do it or try again. Like, so yeah.
Girl, let me tell you why that's so important. Oh, you got something there, because and I'm coming to you, Erife, but that right there hit me. It did resonate with me. So, and the reason why is because there have been versions of myself that I thought I had to maintain because of the expectation around that, right? So I thought I had to be this person, whether it was this churchy person or this religious person, or this I dress a certain way. Like I've literally given away every year. I gave away the last little remnant of clothes that don't represent who I am. And the last little bit in my closet, I did it in tears because I knew I was shedding and letting go pieces of me that others had told me I needed to be. Right. So that thing about that resetting, allowing you to move, it gives you permission to be who you really want to be and are evolving to be. I love that. Thank you for that gift. What do you think, Erife? How would you round out this advice?
Yeah, I would say it's similar to like for myself, I used to get into like robotic mode and go and like really be stuck on overdrive. But even computers require to be reset, right? You hit that capacity with your cell phone, right? Leaving spacing your photo drive, or your battery gets hot, right? Because you just have it over going and going and going, and you're maxing out that capacity. So even in like I said, with electronics and things like that, they require reset. So we're humans, we just need to do it, right? In order to rejuvenate ourselves and allow ourselves to really refill and recharge.
That's so good.
I can't think of anything worth having and using and being that doesn't need a reset. I'm sitting here by our piano in our music room, and this bad boy needs a tune up every now and again. You know what I'm saying? Like, the cars need to be tuned up and reset. Like, that was so good, Erife. I love that. And I would just add to that sometimes I just want to reiterate, sometimes it doesn't feel easy or comfortable to do it in isolation. And so I would just say connect, even if it's not with real women, and we would absolutely love for it to be us. But if you don't with us, connect with someone who makes you feel safe enough to share your newest thought,
Yeah.
your the most recent evolution of who you are, that they're not going to be like, you what, that's not you, what like, we don't need none of that in this space, to just give you the freedom to evolve and maybe decide, you know what, I don't like that no more, I do want to go back to what I was doing. Like, that freedom to be that fluid is really important in order to live out life to the fullest.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any other thoughts y'all got? This was good to me.
Whew. I'm ready to hit reset on the day. On the day.
Listen, y'all, this was so good to me. We decided we're not gonna do our other segments. Y'all gotta listen to the previous episodes and come back for future episodes. But when we get a good guest and just keep a good conversation going, we let it ride. And so what I'd love to do, Erife, is I would love for you to share just kind of what makes what you're doing in your life right now to support others so special. Is there anything that you're working on? If you want people to connect with you in any way, I can just be a testament personally to how you have helped begin to propel Real Women into another direction. We are so excited about some events I'm about to tell you about as we close, and you have been instrumental in that and helping us think real future forward about where we want to be. Do you want to speak to anything about the work that you do and how you can support organizations or individuals?
Sure. So actually the newest initiative is the Power of 25. And that was something that came to me while I was at the intensive, while I was hitting my reset. And my brain literally was just so much, it just kept downloading. And this vision came of like, okay, let me pull together all of these different things that I've learned over the years, right? And figure out how we can help support the organizations that are really supporting us. So that's what this initiative is about, just really pouring back into those that are pouring into others. So with that is like really, like you said, that innovative look ahead, right? So we can start planning for decades to come and make sure that there's a real, sustainability plan as well as the support to go along with it. So that just really wanting to tap into where my heart really lies, and that's helping people. My goal is to help heal the world one person at a time. So I can't do it alone. We can definitely do it together. So that's where I am. That's why I'm, very confident and purposeful about putting all my energy towards that. So as far as connecting and following those initiatives, you can check out my website, hublinks.me. That's HUBLINX.me. On socials, Facebook, IG, at HubLinks. Again, that's HUBLINX. I have a couple other initiatives coming up, but Hub Links is really like the core. It's going to be a series of core hubs and sub hubs. So that will act as like the information board, so to speak. So just if you tap in there, you'll see all the things coming up. And I have to come back to the show, talk about some of the next things. So we're just going to save a little bit of it.
Absolutely. Well, I can attest to a couple of things. First of all, Hub Links. You just go there and check her out, social media as well as the website. And then that Power of 25, we have latched on to that as a result. You were at our annual intensive, and every year we host an amazing intensive. We have given you all here on this podcast the preview as well as the post view recap of how amazing our intensives are. So you can go back and catch those episodes. But because of that, download that you received, we have garnered funds as well as new members as a result of that Power of 25 concept. So we can attest to the power of not only 25 but RFA and Hub Links. So please check her out at Hub Links, all of those places that she named. And I'll just plug to say here that a part of what she has helped us do is to develop this Blossom Brunch. It's a fundraiser that we have put together, and it is going to be a whole vibe. I mean, live music and brunch food, good food. We're going to have games and conversation and dancing, and it's going to be a whole vibe. Good people. We would love for you to attend. It's in the Southern Maryland area. But even if you can't attend, check out our website and consider going to the events page, because if you go there, you can donate toward it. It is a fundraiser. A portion of the proceeds will be tax deductible, but it will help us grow Real Women Rock. And we would love for you to be a part of that. You'll go to Real Women Rock and see a ton of other opportunities for you to connect with us as well. So this has been so good, y'all. Enjoyed this.
This is fun. I'm ready to come back.
Yes, we would love for you too. Absolutely. Don't threaten us with a good time.
That's right.
So y'all, this has been Real Women, Real Talk, and we are elated to come to you every week. There is an episode, whether it's an original one or one that we just found was so good we wanted to repost. So send folks our way. Make sure that you let someone know that we are here. Join us every week, and tell somebody about us, and go to speakpipe.com/Real Women Real Talk to connect with us. Until the next episode, we'll see y'all later.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.
Bye-bye.